Today, we're taking another look at the disturbing world of Dr. Nowhere. If you've spent any time in online horror spaces, you've probably come across some of his creations. Strange, unsettling entities that feel like they exist somewhere between nightmare and reality. His work often features distorted humanoids, unnatural creatures, and eerie scenarios that leave a lot of questions unanswered. In this video, we're going to break down several of these entities, looking at what they are, where do they come from, how they behave, and just how dangerous they might actually be. Some of these creatures seem purely psychological, while others appear capable of real physical harm. But one thing they all share is that they all operate in ways that do not follow normal human logic. AI is a strange and unsettling entity that appears to represent a distorted form of artificial intelligence. The creature is semi-humanoid in appearance, but its anatomy is clearly unnatural. Instead of a normal head, AI has a large black box where its head should be, giving it a mechanical or digital presence rather than a biological one. The lower half of its body is completely missing, leaving the creature floating or suspended in place. It also possesses 6 arms, each ending in mangled, distorted hands that appear malformed and unnatural. These warped hands are often interpreted as a reference to AI-generated imagery, where hands frequently appear distorted or incorrectly formed. This detail suggests that AI may represent a commentary on artificial intelligence itself, specifically the unpredictable and unsettling nature of the machine-generated creations. The entity communicates with viewers by making strange promises. AI claims that it can create anything a person wishes to see or imagine, and that it can even become anything someone desires to be. This implies that the creature may have the ability to generate images, realities, or identities based on human input. However, because so little is known about the entity, it is unclear whether these promises are genuine or simply a way to lure victims into interacting with it. Many theories suggest that AI may be some form of AI-based eldritch entity, something that exists between digital systems and the physical world. If this is true, it could potentially manipulate images, media, or information in ways that humans do not fully understand. While its true motives remain unknown, the combination of artificial intelligence and supernatural influence makes AI a particularly unsettling presence. Amber is one of the most terrifying entities documented in the works of Dr. Nowhere. At first glance, Amber appears vaguely humanoid, but its anatomy is deeply unsettling. The creature has a reddish-brown skin tone, extremely long arms and legs, and elongated fingers powerful enough to shatter glass. Most disturbingly, Amber does not appear to have a normal human head. Instead, its chest contains a large eye that can split open, revealing a massive mouth hidden within its torso. Reports estimate Amber's height anywhere between 13 and 33 feet tall, weighing roughly 456 pounds, making it an enormous and highly mobile predator. Amber is most often sighted at night, typically between fall and early spring, where it has been seen galloping across rooftops, suburban neighborhoods, and even highways. Witnesses describe the creature moving quickly and unpredictably through residential areas before targeting homes. Amber appears to be extremely aggressive towards humans, especially children. In one reported incident in Tennessee, a witness claimed to have seen Amber smash its arm through a neighbor's window, grab a child from inside the house, and swallow them whole. Whether Amber consumes its victims for sustenance or for another unknown purpose remains unclear. What makes Amber particularly frightening is a lack of clear pattern in its attacks. The creature does not appear to follow a predictable hunting routine or schedule, making it extremely difficult to track or prepare for. So far, there is no known method to stop or kill it, which has led some communities in rural North America, where sightings are most common, to take defensive measures such as boarding up windows and reinforcing their homes during the months when Amber is most active. Because direct confrontation appears impossible, survival strategies focus entirely on avoidance and preparation. Staying indoors at night, especially during Amber's active seasons, is considered critical. Homes should be reinforced, windows boarded, and children closely supervised after dark. In rare situations where the creature is already nearby, loud noises such as alarms or banging metal objects may temporarily distract it from a target. However, encounters with Amber are extremely dangerous, and the best chance of survival comes from early warning and prevention rather than resistance. Angel meat is a disturbing humanoid entity believed to represent the twisted remains of a fallen angel. Its appearance is tall and skeletal, with pale white or translucent skin that gives it an almost ghost-like appearance. The creature has no visible eyes or ears, leaving its face blank and unnatural. Its mouth is stretched open in what appears to be a permanent scream, creating the impression that the creature is trapped in a state of endless agony. Several white hooks or wires appear to be embedded into its head and wrists, possibly restraining or torturing it. These hooks seem to stretch the skin across its head, giving it an unnatural and distorted shape. The creature's torso is mostly concealed beneath a long white cloth draped over its body, which further adds to its unsettling presence. Angel meat is believed to be a manifestation of a fallen angel, but not in the traditional sense of a powerful celestial being. Instead, it represents something broken and left over from divine existence. Within the lore, angel meat is described as the wisdom tooth of the universe. In biology, wisdom teeth are vestigial structures, remnants from earlier stages of human evolution that often cause pain and sometimes need to be removed. This comparison suggests that angel meat is a similar type of remnant within the universe itself, something ancient, painful, and possibly unnecessary, yet still embedded within the fabric of reality. Because of this symbolism, angel meat may not be simply a monster, but rather a cosmic anomaly, a leftover fragment of divine existence that continues to exist despite no longer serving a purpose. Just as an impacted wisdom tooth causes constant pressure and pain, angel meat appears to embody internal suffering and cosmic discomfort, representing something that should have perhaps been removed a long time ago, but remains lodged within the structure of the universe. Very little is known about how the creature behaves or whether it actively attacks humans. However, its tortured appearance and mysterious origin suggest that encountering angel meat would likely be extremely dangerous or psychologically overwhelming. The Carolers are a group of disturbing humanoid entities believed to have once been human before undergoing a horrific transformation, linked to a mysterious cult. Their appearance is extremely unnatural, with elongated, spindly bodies, and disproportionately long arms that end in thin, extended fingers. Their skin has a dark reddish tone, and they are often seen wearing black coats. The most unsettling feature of the Carolers is their heads, which appear incomplete, missing the upper portion entirely, leaving behind a grotesque face dominated by a large, open mouth that looks permanently frozen in a scream or expression of agony. Unlike many creatures that hunt alone, the Carolers typically travel in groups of 3 to 5, moving quietly through areas in search of victims. Their primary hunting method involves hypnotic singing. When the Carolers begin their eerie melodies, anyone who hears the sound may enter a trance-like state and feel compelled to follow the voices. This makes them particularly dangerous, as victims can unknowingly walk directly toward the creatures without realizing the threat they're approaching. Although the full purpose behind their behavior is unknown, the Carolers appear to rely entirely on the psychological manipulation to capture prey. Survivors who have managed to escape encounters often report that the haunting sound of their singing and the disturbing image of their disfigured faces continues to linger in their minds long after the event. Because direct confrontation with the Carolers is extremely dangerous, survival depends largely on avoiding their influence. If their singing is heard, it is critical to move away from the sound immediately and create as much distance as possible. In areas where sightings are reported, carrying earplugs, or covering your ears can prevent the hypnotic effect of their voices. Avoiding their song entirely may be the only reliable way to survive an encounter. The Follower is one of the most mysterious entities to appear in the works of Dr. Nowhere, and very little is actually known about it. The creature appears briefly in the video Has This Ever Happened to You?, where it interrupts a television advertisement in a disturbing manner. Its appearance is simple but unsettling. A moist red face staring directly at the viewer. The face bears some resemblance to another entity known as the Boiled One, though there are noticeable differences between the two. During its appearance, the Follower repeatedly states, "There is nothing that follows you after you turn off all the lights in the house." The way the message is delivered strongly suggests the opposite, that something does follow people and they are left in darkness. This implies that the creature may exist within dark environments, particularly inside homes once the lights are turned off. Because there are no confirmed sightings beyond the original broadcast, the full extent of the creature's behavior remains unknown. However, many theories suggest that the Follower may manifest in dark spaces, possibly feeding off fear or simply existing in places where visibility is limited. If this is the case, the uneasy feeling many people experience when walking through a dark house may not just be psychological. It could be potentially linked to the presence of this entity. Due to the lack of confirmed encounters, it is unclear whether the Follower is directly hostile. However, given its disturbing appearance and the threatening nature of its message, it is generally assumed that an encounter with this entity would be extremely dangerous, because incidences involving such a creature would likely be dismissed or explained away. Tracking its activity would be nearly impossible. For this reason, the safest precaution is avoiding darkness whenever possible. Keeping lights on in your home and remaining in well-lit areas may reduce the chances of encountering the Follower. If the creature truly exists within the darkness itself, then preventing those conditions may be the only reliable way to avoid it. Due to the possibility that the Follower could exist anywhere darkness is present, the entity may represent a far larger threat than currently understood. Mr. Glovesworth is a grotesque humanoid creature believed to have once been human, before being transformed through a mysterious experimental injection. His appearance is deeply unsettling. He has a thin, elongated body with 4 extremely long and spindly limbs that stretch far beyond normal human proportions. His skin appears pale, with a reddish tint, and parts of his torso expose visible muscle fibers and tendons, giving the impression that his body is partially stripped of skin. His face is equally disturbing, featuring hollow eye sockets, a small pointed nose, and a thin straight mouth that gives him a permanently sad expression. His neck is unnaturally long, and supports a large disproportionate head, making his silhouette instantly recognizable. Despite his monstrous form, traces of the person he once was remain. Mr. Glovesworth appears to be driven by a warped obsession with carnival-style games. Blind, deaf, and barely capable of speech, he relies almost entirely on an extremely heightened sense of smell to navigate his surroundings. Using his ability, he constructs disturbing mockeries of carnival attractions, often incorporating human remains as prizes or displays, suggesting that his victims become a part of the twisted game he creates. Although fragments of his old personality may still exist, Mr. Glovesworth reacts with extreme violence to any perceived threat. His behavior suggests that he interprets the world through scent alone, which makes encounters with him particularly dangerous. What remains of his former love for carnival games now manifests as horrific displays that serve as grim reminders of the human he used to be. Surviving an encounter with Mr. Glovesworth depends heavily on managing scent and avoiding detection. Removing strong smells from your clothing and body may reduce the chances of attracting his attention, because he relies on smell rather than sight or sound. Leaving behind strong scents can lead him directly to you. In desperate situations, it may be possible to distract them by throwing an object with a strong odor away from your position, giving you a small window of time to escape. However, this strategy is extremely risky and should only be considered as a last resort. The terrible thing in one house, sometimes referred to as the horrible thing, is a creature that appears to be vaguely humanoid but heavily distorted. Witnesses describe it as having multiple arms and legs, along with an unsettlingly human face. Its body structure appears unstable, and the creature is capable of changing its appearance, making it extremely difficult to identify or track. One of its most dangerous features is a large needle-like appendage that extends from inside its body, which it uses to stab or incapacitate its victims. The creature's behavior is extremely hostile, with no recorded instances of peaceful or neutral interactions. Reports suggest that it prefers to ambush prey and attack suddenly. In its initial form, the creature uses the needle to quickly disable victims before removing their internal organs. Whether this is done for sustenance or not is currently unclear. Later sightings suggest the creature is capable of transforming into a second form, which appears more animalistic. In this form, it possesses a long, thick neck, loose skin around its face, and long, thin legs resembling those of a bird. Despite the change in appearance, it continues to use the same needle-like weapon. Witnesses have also reported that the creature seems to play with its prey, slowly approaching them while extending the needle as a way of intimidation before attacking. The creature was first discovered after a family in Redding, California went missing. Concerned neighbors reported the lack of activity to local police, who were sent to investigate the home. Inside the house, officers discovered a powerful stench that led them to the closet in the child's bedroom. When the closet's door was opened, the creature attacked the officers and escaped the house. The bodies of the missing family were found inside the closet, strangely, completely intact on the outside, but missing their internal organs. 2 police officers were severely injured during the attack. The creature was spotted again sometime later when a boy walking home from school saw it leaving another house. The entity began slowly stalking the boy, extending its needle as it approached. Before it could reach him, the same injured police officers arrived and shot the creature, forcing it to retreat and escape once again. And that's going to wrap up today's video. Many of these entities we covered remain poorly understood, and in most cases the information surrounding them is incomplete or unreliable. What makes them particularly unsettling is the fact that we often don't know their true intentions, how they operate, or whether they can even be stopped at all. Encounters with these kinds of creatures are rarely documented clearly, and when they are, the reports are often dismissed, buried, or explained away as something else entirely. Because of that, it's difficult to determine just how many of these things might actually exist, or how often people encounter them. So if you ever find yourself in a situation that feels wrong, something that doesn't quite follow the rules of the world as you understand them, the safest option is always the same. Trust your instincts, remove yourself from the situation, and don't try to investigate further. Some things are better left unexplained. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover next. And as always, until next time, friends.